The year was 187-9, Utah Territory. An execution was set to take place that day, expected to last only a few seconds. But things did not go as planned. Instead, the onlookers witnessed 27 minutes of brutal agony, a horrific event that sparked a nationwide debate across the United States.
This is the story of Wallace Wilkerson. It was June 11, 187, in the Tintic mining district of the Utah Territory. Wallace Wilkerson, a local stock raiser and horsebreaker, stepped into James Hightower's saloon, where bartender William Baxter was on duty. They sat down to play cribbage, but the game soon turned bitter over money disputes and allegations of foul play. Baxter attempted to defuse the situation and walk away, but Wilkerson pursued him. A single shot was fired, striking Baxter in the forehead and exiting the side of his head, killing him on the spot. By the following morning, investigators had established the truth. Baxter was an unarmed man when he was killed. Following his arrest, Wilkerson pleaded not guilty at trial, but the jury ultimately convicted him. On November 28, 1877, Judge P.H. Emerson handed down the death sentence. Under the laws of the Utah Territory at the time, a condemned man could choose his method of execution: hanging, beheading, or a firing squad. Wilkerson opted for the firing squad, fully believing it to be the swiftest and most dignified way to die.
However, Wilkerson's defense team refused to give up. They argued that execution by a firing squad breached the Eighth Amendment, classification as cruel and unusual punishment. The legal battle reached the Supreme Court of the United States in the landmark case Wilkerson v. Utah. On March 17, 1879, Justice Nathan Clifford handed down the decision, ruling that the firing squad was constitutional and did not fall under cruel and unusual punishment. This historic ruling continues to be cited in American jurisprudence today. With that, Wilkerson's last hope was completely shattered.
On May 15, 1879,
Wilkerson was moved from Salt Lake City to the Provo jail. That last night was spent with his wife, who remained by his side until a mere half hour before the end. He declined all offers to meet with religious figures. When morning came, Sheriff John Turner escorted him from his cell. Wilkerson wore a black suit paired with a white felt hat. He carried a cigar and companion he would keep with him until the final moment. His steps were firm and deliberate, bearing the posture of a man completely devoid of fear. A lone chair waited in a corner of the prison yard. Wilkerson sat down, but refused to be bound to it, saying, "I give you my word. I will die like a man, looking my executioners straight in the eye." A small white paper target was fastened to his clothes, right over his heart. The firing squad was stationed approximately 30 feet away, concealed within a nearby shed. Wilkerson called out, "Aim for the heart, Marshal." Promptly at noon, The command was given. Volleys of gunfire rang out. But at that critical instant, Wilkerson sat up straight, causing the target to move. 4 balls struck him, but none found his heart. 1 bullet broke his left arm, while the rest lodged into his upper chest. The impact threw Wilkerson from the chair, sending him sprawling onto the ground 5 to 6 feet away. He cried out, "Oh my God, they have missed!" Four physicians rushed forward, but they were entirely helpless. Wilkerson lay on the dirt, convulsing and crying out for water. The crowd of about 20 spectators watched in utter horror. Some begged the officials to end his suffering. The authorities contemplated a second firing squad, but the order was never given. Left to bleed out on the ground from his internal trauma, Wallace Wilkerson finally succumbed 27 minutes later. An execution meant to take mere seconds had transformed into one of the most fiercely debated events in the history of capital punishment. Starting the following morning, reports flooded the American press. As the Ogden Junction starkly put it, the French guillotine never fails. A newfound controversy over capital punishment swept the entire country. Just a decade after this tragedy, in 1890, the United States turned to the electric chair, seeking a more humane alternative. Even the legacy of Wilkerson v. Utah refused to fade. In 2008, the Supreme Court cited the case in Bays v. Rees to justify the constitutionality of lethal injection. Wallace Wilkerson sought a swift and dignified end. Instead, his final moments left an indelible question mark on America's execution system. A question that's 187.9. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.